Hi there, this is Professor Livingood. Welcome to another episode of Exploring the Entrepreneurial Mindset, where today I'll be sharing the parable of the oranges, adapted from a 2016 article in Forbes by Amy Rees Anderson. There once was a young man who had ambitions to work for a company because it paid very well and was very prestigious. He prepared his resume and had several interviews. Eventually, he was given an entry-level position where he completed the tasks he was given enthusiastically and competently. He even came in early some mornings and stayed late so the boss would see him putting in long hours. After a few years, a supervisor position became available. But, to the young man's great dismay, a young woman who had only worked for the company for 6 months was given the promotion. The young man was very angry, and he went to his boss and demanded an explanation. The wise boss said, "Before I answer your questions, would you do a favor for me?" "Yes, sure," said the young man. "Would you go to the store and buy some oranges? My wife needs them." The young man agreed and went to the store. When he returned, the boss asked, "What kind of oranges did you buy?" "I don't know," the young man answered. "You just said to buy oranges, and these are the oranges. Here they are." "How much did they cost?" the boss asked. "Well, I'm not sure," was the reply. "You gave me $30. Here is your receipt, and here is your change." "Thank you," said the boss. "Now please have a seat and pay careful attention." Then the boss called in the employee who had received the promotion and asked her to do the same job. She readily agreed and went to the store. When she returned, the boss asked, "What kind of oranges did you buy?" "Well," she replied, "the store had many varieties. There were mandarin oranges, navel oranges, Valencia oranges, blood oranges, tangerines, and many others, and I didn't know which kind to buy. But I remembered you said your wife needed the oranges, so I called her. She said she was having a party and that she was going to make orange juice. So I asked the grocer which of the oranges would make the best orange juice. He said the Valencia orange was full of very sweet juice, so that's what I bought. I dropped them by your home on my way back to the office. Your wife was very pleased." "How much did they cost?" the boss asked. "Well, that was another problem. I didn't know how many to buy, so I once again called your wife and asked her how many guests she was expecting. She said 20. I asked the grocer how many oranges would be needed to make juice for 20 people, and it was a lot. So I asked the grocer if he could give me a quantity discount, and he did. These oranges normally cost 75 cents each, but I only paid 50 cents. Here is your change and the receipt." The boss smiled and said, "Thank you. You may go." He looked over at the young man who had been watching. The young man stood up, slumped his shoulders, and said, "I see what you mean," as he walked dejectedly out of the office. What did you learn from this parable? To me, the moral of this story begs two questions. First, which employee do you want to be? And second, which employee do you want to hire? The young woman demonstrated the entrepreneurial mindset. She was proactive and sought to add value for her boss rather than just doing what she was told, like the young man did. She recognized her limitations and wasn't afraid to ask questions to help fill in what she didn't know. She focused on the problem to be solved, asking questions like why, to get to the root of the issue. She used her ingenuity and creativity to find ways to do things better and cheaper than the young man. Even though her boss was the buyer, his wife was actually the customer, and by working to solve her problem, true value was created by the young woman. All of these are elements of the entrepreneurial mindset, which is the focus and foundation of my courses. My mission is to promote the entrepreneur's ethic by educating in an entertaining way to empower students to elevate their lives and pursue their passions, built on the foundation of the entrepreneurial mindset. Please visit SeinfeldSensei.com to learn more. I look forward to taking this entrepreneurial journey with you, and until then, have a living good day. I know I will.